Alright, so what am I doing? I am learning the ant anatomy, and I'm going to be drawing it. I have to start with a soft pencil, so something like 5H, that should do well. It's hardness, but hardness means it comes out much lighter. So let's see here. I think you start with the head. This is a angry ant from sort of a it's a front view, but it's off to the side at maybe like 30 degrees or so. And this is, I don't know what type of ant this is, but this is general anatomy for an ant. I doubt all ants have stingers, but I don't know. And different head shapes, but for this one, start with the head. And honestly, drawing a circle isn't a terrible idea, I suppose, but you do run into the issue. You have to square this off. And then you have kind of the mouth area here. So you have the eyes. They are compound. Which not exactly, I don't exactly know what that entails, what it means. I think it just means what does it mean? Let me look it up. Well, maybe not. Well, compound means many, or more than two, right? A bunch, you know. So I think it's just like simple light cells that recognize light. I don't know. Let's go on to the mandibles. Now, the mandibles of ants are really interesting to me because typically what I've kind of imagined ant mandibles to look like is sort of, that's the head, and then it's sort of like this. It's curved, it's like a banana shape. That's kind of what I imagined, but that is not the case. They are more flat, broad, and not so sharp. Though they are capable of cutting, of course. I imagine maybe leaf cutters have sharper mandibles, potentially. So that would make some sense. Or maybe all ant mandibles are already capable of slicing through leaves. So these are mandibles. Alright, let's do the antennae next. So the antennae, they are interesting. Of course, they're used for sensing pheromones, and they're feelers, pretty much. So what I usually thought in my cartoon, you know, perspective on ants, they kind of they're on top of the head like ears. That is also not the case. They are more of a nose type appendage, which makes sense because they sense chemicals, and I'm sure there's different types of names for the different segments of the antennae. Like there's this first part which is sort of like what you'll see. It's sort of like either like a femur or a tibia, and then the latter half looks like a tarsi. I don't know how to pronounce that. Anyways, there's these little segments here. They go down here. And in this image, they actually grow in size. And I don't think they actually do that in real life. I'm pretty sure they more so... I think this is a perspective thing. I think they don't do that. Although, maybe they do. They probably do, you know, for maximum sensing. Larger at the end. Yeah. Let's erase those lines there. And then maybe bring this out a little bit more. And this will be cut off, but that's okay. So here's the ant's right antenna. And it heads out this way. Almost kind of almost a triangular shape to the segments. At least the first two here, it seems, so maybe it flattens out after the two. And so here it's compound eyes, and then we'll do this antennae, or just antenna. I spelled that wrong. Okay. Got that now. Well, this is new to me. I don't know what ocelli are. But in this image, they are these circular looking things. So I suppose I'll look it up. Ocelli. Ant. Oops. Ant. In addition to the compound eye, most flying insects have simple eyes known as ocelli, which assist in flight stabilization, horizon detection, and orientation. Among ants, typically the flying alates have ocelli, while the pedestrian workers lack this structure. Wow, okay. That's good to know. So, what's interesting is this image would be incorrect then. Maybe it's not though, because this spherical, I think, might be where the wing comes from. Wing comes from over here. So it's possible that this is an alate, but with its wing missing. Now, did it say? I think it said typically don't. Typically, the flying alates have it. All the pedestrian workers lack it. Okay. Alate. structure. Okay. So let's see. Yeah, while I'm at it, I guess I'll look up compound eyes. Thousands of ommatidia, which are tiny independent photoreception units that consist of a cornea, lens, and photoreceptor cells. It's like a bunch of eyeballs. Simple, very simple eyeballs. Very cool. Alright, and this is the head of the ant. So let's mark this here. Head. And let's move on to the other segments. Now, this is interesting because ants don't have, like a lot of insects do, they don't have a simple thorax, the part in between the head and the abdomen. Ants are apparently different, as far as I can tell. The abdomen, instead of being called the abdomen, it's called the gaster. Well, I think it's also referred to the abdomen, but there's like 3 segments to the middle, right? It's not just one cohesive structure. And apparently, the part which the legs come out of from is called the mesosoma. I am curious where that word comes from, mesosoma. Middle part of the body of arthropods, whose body is composed of 3 parts, the other 2 being the prosoma and the metasoma. Interesting. So that conflicts with this image, because it says the metasoma is only one of these segments. It's only one of the segments. So I don't know what to do with that, but that's fine. Let's move on to the mesosoma, aka the parts where the legs come out from, aka probably the most thorax appearing structure. And it dips actually quite a bit. And kind of goes out. This is weird looking, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know why there's these like swirly things. This image is from a myrmecological news blog. So it is a blog, though it'd be kind of weird for a blog all about ants to have incorrect info, but I suppose it's possible. Alright, so let's mark this. Actually, I have to kind of shorten this. This is I think, yeah, I drew it too large, but that's okay. Mesosoma. cool. The spiracle, and I'm pretty sure the spiracle is the hole that it's either the wing comes out of or it's the balancing organ. Let me look. Spiracle. An orifice of the tracheal system by which gases enter and leave the body. Oh, no, I was very much incorrect. The first spiracle opening occurs on the mesothorax. And I'm guessing the mesothorax is the synonym for the mesosoma. Probodial. By which gases enter and leave the body. Well, that is news to me. Very interesting. And now, I drew that way too big. I see that now. Well, that's okay. Let's do the legs. So this is the first set of legs, the front legs, and this is also pretty wild looking. So this is the femur. This should have a name. I'm wondering what it is. This is the coxa, or the coxa. So I'll add that in myself. But let's draw this first. So, this part is and this is the true foot of the ant. And they kind of like barbs as well on this section. So I suppose you call it, this is a tarsi. Well, let's start with the, here, let me draw the other legs first because I don't know where I'll have room for the letters. Okay. And swirls up, over, and then we're going down, down, down. Whoop. I'll add the feet here. Barbs. Very good. Okay, I need to maybe make this one a little bit bigger. So these are coxa. These are femurs. These are tibias. And maybe just tibia. Yeah, it's called tibia, that's the plural. And these are tarsi. Very good. Let's draw this last leg. Sort of behind the others. I got like a weird looking part. Some sort of connector. And then this way. And then down this way, and we're gonna go off the page there. That's fine. So that's the third leg. In this picture, you've noticed the legs, the back legs, there's like parts of them, but they're not totally there, except for this one. That's the only front leg that is actually there. So I'm just gonna not have those. Let's move on to, from the mesothorax or the mesosoma, let's move to this interesting looking part of the middle section of the ant. Apparently it's called a petiole. I'll write that down. Petiole. And then there's this very circular section next. And that looks like it's called the postpetiole. Postpetiole. And let's have this all the way back, and we'll label it the metasoma. Alright, so maybe I'll read about the petiole. The ant has a petiole connecting the thorax to the abdomen. So this is the mesothorax. And I guess you could call this the metathorax, or mesosoma, or metasoma. So maybe I won't write it down. I think it's, yeah, that's fine. So the petiole connects the thorax to the abdomen. Cool. Two parts of the petiole. Here's the front and the back. I don't know if they serve any other function apart from just connection. I imagine it should. Alright, and then I am out of space, unfortunately, but draw a bit of the abdomen or the gaster. So this could definitely just be called an abdomen, it doesn't matter. But for staying, true to this image, I'll label it the gaster. And then there is a stinger, but I don't believe all ants have stingers. Do all ants have stingers? Nope, not all have. But it is more common than not, apparently. Cool. Maybe I'll do a little bit of shading now. This 5H pencil is actually a lot harder than, or a lot darker than I thought it was going to appear. Yeah, we'll just do a little bit of shading here and there. Nothing crazy. So there are other parts that I'm interested in. Yeah, for one, the internal organs, but also there are some external parts that I am still unaware of. And that would be the mouth. I know there's mouth parts apart from the mandibles. I don't know what they're called. But I will need to find that out, won't I? Because I don't know. Anyways, a little bit more sugar in here. Go. We have our ant anatomized.